And thank you so much for joining us tonight. It is the outcome no one was hoping for. Authorities have recovered the body of 11-year-old Audrii Cunningham in Deep East, Texas. And a man who was initially named as a person of interest in this case, Don Stephen McDougal, is now charged with her murder. This afternoon, the Polk County Sheriff confirmed they found the 11-year-old girl's body in the Trinity River. KLTV7's Vanessa Johnson was at the news conference this afternoon and brings us the very latest.
Audrii Cunningham was reported missing last Thursday, and the hope to find her alive remained strong until the announcement at 4 this afternoon. Sheriff Byron Lyons explained how the investigation unfolded.
I sadly announced that Audrii's body was located at the Trinity River on the U.S. Highway 59. As a result of today's developments, I will discontinue the Amber Alert for Audrii. At this time right now, we have transported Audrii down to the Harris County Medical Examiner's Office. At that time, we will await their results to be able to determine the cause and method of her death.
As the attention turns now from bringing Audrii home to executing justice, authorities believe they have their prime suspect in custody. District Attorney Shelley Sitton says new charges are forthcoming.
Based on all of the evidence that law enforcement has collected, they are in the process of preparing the appropriate arrest warrants for Don Stephen McDougal. At this time, we believe the appropriate arrest warrant is going to be for capital murder in the death of Audrii Cunningham.
According to Lyons, some of the evidence that led to Audrii's discovery came from interviews with McDougal.
There was evidence that we was collecting through the cell phone analysis, as well as through our videos that we were able to collect, and some of the information that we received from him. We were able to contact TRA, Trinity River Authority. They slowed down the outflow from the reservoir, and it allowed the water to go down, and her body was discovered there in the water.
McDougal was arrested on Friday on an unrelated charge of aggravated assault, and Lyons confirmed he remains in jail as they pursue the new warrant. Sitton assured the community that all measures are being taken to find closure in Audrii's case.
You can assure that the District Attorney's Office will be just as dedicated to this case as every one of these law enforcement officers that are standing behind you to do what is right for Audrii and bring justice to our community.
Vanessa Johnson, KLTV 7 News.
And McDougal was said to be a friend of the family's. In addition to cell phone data and also interviews, the sheriff says the community's drive to find Audrii manifested through social media and tips, and he says that was instrumental in finding her body.